What's up, hockey fans, and welcome back to the Good Goal Podcast. This is episode 34. I'm Christian Brady in quarantine from Clemson, South Carolina, and that's Matt TR across town. Matt, what's going on?
What's up? I'm wearing the Screaming Eagle hat, the orange shirt. You know, Christian loves flashing colors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm wearing the Screaming Eagle hat. Caps wore their beautiful best jersey in hockey reverse retros last night, only to lose to Sidney Crosby and the Penguins in overtime, because that's what we are best at. So,
yeah.
Also, Duncan, sponsor us.
Yeah, Duncan. Oh, man, imagine if Duncan sponsored us.
Yeah, we could hang out with TJ Oshie and pasta.
Yeah.
That Super Bowl commercial was sick, by the way.
Yeah, it was good. Well, it's such a fact, too. When the puck goes in the corner in bubble hockey, if you haven't seen it, go watch a commercial. But the puck goes in the corner, and TJ Oshie's just, like, talking, and someone's like, shouldn't you be paying attention to the game? He's like, no, the puck's in the corner. We're not going to get it until we tilt the table, which is exactly what it is. When the puck goes in the corner and the guy just can't reach it.
You literally have to lift the table off, like, just shake it.
Yeah.
Pasta's in the corner, like.
Exactly.
Yeah. Also, me and Christian have never lost in table hockey. So.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot we played it at the Pavilion.
The coolest place in town.
Mm-hmm. I went outside today, Matt. Threw my trash out, walked around for 10 minutes.
Yeah, nice. So update from last week. Me and Christian, we go to Myrtle Beach. We're having a good time. Christian gets a call from Clemson home. Well, he got a call from Redfern at like 4 a.m, and naturally he didn't answer. And he gets a call from Clemson home. Yeah, they didn't leave a message.
And it wasn't it wasn't the Redfern number. It wasn't a Clemson, South Carolina number. It was like a Augusta, Georgia number, because they hire contact tracers just to call from their phone. But yeah, continue.
Gets a call from Clemson home, like the division of Clemson that's in charge of on-campus living, and they're like, "Hey, your suite mate tested positive."
Not even. They were like, "Hey, so you're in quarantine. When do you want your meal delivered?" I was like, "Huh?" And they're like, "You talked to Redfern, right?" And I was like, "I did not." So they're like, "Okay, we'll just explain it to you. Your roommate tested positive. You are quarantining right now." And I was like, "That's funny because I'm not there."
Yeah, like literally, he's like, "I am," because we're on a golf course right now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we got out of Dodge. We wanted to be safe around my grandparents. They got the vaccine, but we wanted to do all the safety protocols. So we came back a day early, and he started quarantine. So fingers crossed, you get tested Friday, and if he's negative, then
it's a weird situation because I haven't even seen the kid in probably a week, and I mean the only thing we do is share a bathroom, and also I was gone for at least a day before he tested positive. So hey, if I get it from using a toilet, then we're all going to get it eventually. But going outside today, Matt, to move back to that, it was such a tease because it felt so good. But then you go inside and you're just hit with this wave of depression because it's like when you're not hungry. So you eat like a granola bar for breakfast and then you're immediately starving.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been outside since Saturday or Sunday. No, Saturday.
Saturday night when we moved everything into your
and it was like cold, and today is 70 degrees. So
yesterday was gorgeous. I went golfing. I texted him last night. I'm like, it's 72 and sunny. It's the most perfect day. And I texted him and I said, somehow like sneak out of your quarantine to come golfing. But
I would have to leave I didn't. I would have to leave between 12 and 1 and come back in that time. So
we could do the part 3 of
that. Yeah.
Anyway, we're not breakers of the law.
That's right. That's right. We are rule followers.
Yeah. We're sheep. Is what one half of the country would call us.
Yeah, that's right. All right.
Anyway,
breaking news of the day.
This is crazy.
Clause Julien has been fired by the Montreal Canadiens, and so has his assistant coach, Kirk Muller. GM Marc Bergevin appointed Dominique Ducharme an assistant coach to finish the season. He said they will not be looking for another head coach until the end of the season. And if it works out, they won't at all.
My initial thoughts are WTF.
Mm-hmm.
They were first in the power rankings 2 weeks ago. I mean, why? What? It makes no sense.
So they've lost. They've lost 5 of 6. But I don't think that's why he's fired. Last year they had 2 8-game losing streaks, if you remember that, and they also had like 2 11-game winning streaks. So Claude has already proven that his team in Montreal is extremely streaky. I think what we're looking at
the 5 seed in the bubble.
I know. I think what we're looking at, Matt, is they're looking at how short the season is, how this is a year to capitalize because they started the season well. But if you lose, if 5 of 6 losses turns into 11 of 14, then you're
in a 56-game season.
I guess you're in serious trouble. So they're really trying to get ahead of it, I guess. The other thing is, this is maybe like a what's a good example? Like a coup of sorts, where Marc Bergevin has hired this Ducharme guy as an assistant coach, with knowing that he's one day going to be the head coach, and they know what they have in him and they like it, and they want to just get it going now. If they know he's going to be the head coach, they might as well get going with it.
Another point to bring up is, we've seen it. I mean, we brought it up so many times on this podcast, but it really hasn't failed. Anytime a coach gets fired halfway through the season, the person that steps in usually does a really good job. I mean, we saw in 2011, didn't you guys win the cup with a new coach? Or no?
No, so in 2017,
17.
Maybe it was 16, but we were like 10 points out of the playoff race, and we won like 18 of our last 21 games to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Craig Berube steps in halfway through and wins the cup. So we've seen it.
And he took over for Ken Hitchcock, one of the greatest coaches of all time. So it really doesn't matter who you're following. We've seen. It's just, hey, a new voice in the room is almost always good.
Yeah.
At least in the short term.
That's really my initial thoughts were why. And then after thinking about it, I still don't think he deserves to be fired, but this could spark a very talented Montreal team to do have a deep playoff run. So,
even after their slump, they're still in the playoff picture. They're in 4th place in the North Division as we speak. They're 3 points ahead of Calgary as well. That division as a whole is basically struggling right now. Canada has not had very many COVID troubles, at least in the NHL. So they're all playing a lot of games. Vancouver's played 23 games. Off the top of my head, that's definitely the league lead. And looking down, there's no teams that are even close other than the rest of the North Division basically playing 20 games. So they are still low on the totem pole as far as points go, and they have played the most games as a division. So that division as a whole is struggling.
Which is crazy because it's still the most exciting division to watch.
Yeah, it is.
Just because of all the talent. And
right. Yeah. So
I think Montreal will be fine.
I think they'll make the playoffs. I think they should be able to make a run. Toronto's going to lose in the first round anyway because that's what Toronto does. So Montreal, as it stands right now, Montreal would be beating Toronto in the first round of the playoffs.
So guaranteed second round for Montreal.
Yeah, you want to be the 4th. Well, Edmonton's been bad in the playoffs too. I mean, Montreal's in a good spot. There are no teams in that division that are good in the playoffs.
That's true. I mean, who's the last Canadian team to win the cup?
I don't know. Montreal won it in the 90s, didn't they?
93.
That can't be the last time.
It might be. Vancouver made it in 11 when you guys beat them, but they've never won.
The Senators and Canucks have never won a Stanley Cup.
Okay,
I know that
so that's 2 out of what, 8?
I'm pretty sure that the Jets haven't either. At least this Jets franchise that came from Atlanta has not won.
Toronto hasn't won since 67.
All right, the first one.
Edmonton hasn't won since what, 90? And Montreal won it. Last time they won it was 93. So who else is?
Yeah, I'm looking down here, Matt, and it is before the 2000s. Montreal in 93. That's the last Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup.
Did I say that? I'm just the best.
Of course, in the 90s, Edmonton won. I mean, there were,
and then Calgary in '89. Right?
From 85, from 84 to 90, it was all Canadian teams. It was Oilers, Canadians, Oilers, Flames, Oilers.
Calgary, yeah. So I knew Edmonton had won it in 90. And then Pittsburgh back-to-back, 91, 92, Montreal, 93. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
anyway.
So it's been since 1993 that a Canadian team. And now we know that 4 are going to make the playoffs out of 7.
Someone born in 93 has never seen their team, if they're a fan of Canadian, if they're a Montreal fan, win the cup. I mean, that's
a 27-year-old from Canada has never been happy about a Stanley Cup.
That's insane. I mean, that's where the sport originated. Let's go. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, Claude Julien it's a shock, but when you sort of look into it, and I've been checking on Twitter, and Canadian Habs fans are actually happy about this decision.
I don't know. That team is just so built for like his style of play. Like we've just seen them be so successful, not cup-wise because they haven't had a goalie to rely on.
Stingy and very fast, which I've never thought of Claude Julien teams as being fast, but I mean, at the Bruins, they were always physical and scored a lot of goals.
I mean, Nathan Horton doesn't strike me as a speed skater, so.
That's right. Neither does Sean Thornton or Milan Lucic, or go down the list. And Daniel Paille is like known as one of the best skaters, like one of the fastest skaters in the league at that time. We were playing NHL with an all-time Bruins team against the all-time Capitals teams, and Daniel Paille was on the team, and he was starting.
Yeah, and Bobby Orr wasn't.
So Orr was not on the team. Ray Bourque was. That was the only guy who wasn't. But, like, no current players. Ovechkin wasn't on the team, and he's obviously the best cap.
Yeah, and Oli Kolzig wasn't our goalie, which is insane to me because him and Holtby have, like, all the goalie records.
Yeah.
So.
Our goalie was Jerry Cheevers. Okay.
Anyway.
Speaking of goalies, Henrik Lundqvist, back to practicing only 6 weeks after open heart surgery. He said on February 2nd, I think it was, in a tweet that he got a great report from his surgeons at the 4-week mark, and he went for a run, and he's not a runner. So evidently he's feeling very good, and there's a video going around the internet right now of him practicing. Obviously, you can't tell if he's playing well or not in just a video, but the good news is he's back on the ice. So I don't know if we'll see him in the near future as a Cap. But if he's back on the ice, I have to assume he's looking at a comeback.
I don't know if he's a Cap, because the interesting thing is, because of it's insane that the silver lining of all of this is we have found our franchise guy, Vitek Vanacek, and he was supposed to be in Hershey right now.
Yeah.
So,
after Hank went down, you signed Craig Anderson
to taxi squad, and Anderson started yesterday.
Yeah.
Ilya Samsonov, who was supposed to be our franchise guy and replace Holtby, we just recalled him to Hershey this morning. So
again, because he got called back.
He got called up.
Yeah, and then he's back down.
And Craig Anderson started yesterday. He played pretty well. I mean, we lost in overtime, but he played pretty well. So we recalled Ilya Samsonov. So Vitek's our guy. I mean, Laviolette made that pretty clear. So the whole crazy,
like 14 days and 22, 14 games in 22 days.
Yeah. We need to rest him, but so that question I think is answered, that I don't think he will be a Cap, because out of all of this, we found our guy who wasn't even supposed to play for us
somehow. And Craig Anderson is basically playing the role that Hank was sort of hired for.
Yes.
Now, so,
but Lundqvist, he's so good for the sport of hockey. Yeah. I hope someone takes a chance on it.
Me too. And I think someone will. If he's back, I have a hard time believing that he won't have a place to play. Okay.
I mean, hopefully next season we're doing 82 games.
And he could get in for 20.
I believe if the doctors say he's good, he's got 25 in it. So.
Agreed. I'm with you. All right. Elliot Friedman says that the Sabres could be open to dealing Jack Eichel. Eichel was upset after the last season, but then they signed Taylor Hall for 1 year, and everyone thought the problems had gone away. Surprised the Sabres still stink. So Jack Eichel, I'm sure, wants out of there. I want him to get out of there. I don't care if he goes to the Leafs, who I hate the most, who are becoming the Golden State Warriors of the NHL. I don't care if he goes there because he's a Massachusetts kid. He's a USA hockey player, and he's being wasted in the frozen tundra because they can't get anybody to play for that team who's any good.
Yeah, Eichel was drafted the same year as McDavid, if I'm correct. And they usually the number one pick is head and shoulders above everyone else. That's usually how it goes. Yeah. But they were talking about Eichel as if it was him and it was McDavid, right, then him, then everyone else in that draft. And we've seen glimpses of him potentially being a Hart Trophy winner, but he's in Buffalo. He's not going to win it there.
No.
And I've said this entire season, and I've said it, I say it every day to you, and you get annoyed by me. Taylor Hall is going to Seattle. So it makes sense that Jack Eichel wants out and that Buffalo could say, they could get an entire franchise for him if they deal him correctly.
Yeah, they definitely could. Right now, they're looking at 14 points in 16 games. They're 6-8-2. God,
I not think for 1 second that they would be dead last in the league or dead last in the division, after 20 games. I did not, especially with Taylor Hall.
It's easy to say that when you have your season derailed by COVID, it can ruin your momentum. But we saw Dallas come out of the gates red hot after having their season delayed. Florida right out of the bat. Carolina out the gate. And New Jersey now has just beat Boston and Washington in 3 days right out of their quarantine period. So it's really not the case. Teams who are getting derailed from COVID are actually playing well on the back end. And obviously it'll affect them adversely when they have to play 30 games in the last 40 nights of the season. But
I think
it's not the case.
It's a weird dynamic where if you have to take days off because of someone testing positive in your organization, I texted you that it may be some well-needed rest. And that's a horrible way to put it because you don't want a team to have to deal with COVID. But if you're looking at it glass half full, teams are playing 7 games in 9 days and someone tests positive, you get a week to recoup. So, and we've seen it that you just named all these teams that went on 6-game win streaks out of their COVID breaks. Yeah. So, Buffalo, they have all the talent in the world. Hall with Eichel should be putting up 3 goals a game.
Yeah.
But then they're also paying Jeff Skinner $6 million a year to be a fourth liner. So
which doesn't make sense. He was the first piece in all that.
Yeah. They got him from Carolina to be a first liner.
Yeah.
And he's a bum. So anyway.
He is a bum.
And Eichel's going to be a very valuable part to the U.S. going for gold next February. So I love Jack Eichel. I want to see him win a Hart because he has the talent to do it. He ain't going to do it in Buffalo.
Yeah. I'm happy you brought that up because Monday was the 41st anniversary of.
You act like I don't read the script.
The 1980 Miracle on Ice gold medal. Well, not the gold medal. It was basically the semifinal game. I don't know if you've heard, but it was kind of a big deal, I guess.
Yeah, in the world of hockey, I think it was people have mentioned it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Al Michaels
Craig
was on that call. Oh, did he?
Yeah, he tweeted a video of him making a couple saves, and he was like, I can still hear the USA chants in my sleep at some nights.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, that's epic.
That's awesome.
Yes, Al Michaels called that game 41 years ago, and he's doing Sunday Night Football, and that's the best crew. Well, it's Collinsworth and Al Michaels and Jim Nantz and Romo, and they're tied for me. But
I agree.
He's the GOAT. Him and Jim Nantz.
Buck and what's his name are.
Whoa! You're not gonna disrespect three-time Super Bowl champ Troy
Aikman. I like them as people. They are not good at their jobs.
Well, that's because they're drinking whiskey on the job.
yeah, they're great guys, and I think Joe Buck is the best baseball announcer in the world. And I liked him when he did golf when Fox did the U.S. Open. That was awesome.
Well, since you brought up golf, prayers to Tiger Woods because
oh my gosh,
got into a horrific car accident yesterday, and the doctors are trying to, I guess, from what I heard on Get Up this morning, ESPN, shout out Greeny, that he might have daily surgeries for the next couple weeks to try to save his legs. Like the surgeon that worked on him yesterday said it's like an Alex Smith type situation where infection could literally take his legs.
Luckily, he's okay. He's going to live. But he shattered. It was only one leg that actually had to be surgically repaired. The other one has injuries, but they didn't have to open him up for it. But I know that in his right leg, he shattered his ankle and broke his tibia. So they had to put pins and rods in, and they had to open up the tissue because
to reduce swelling
so bad that it would have damaged the nerves. So they're going to have to keep going in and re-sewing up that's how I understand it. But God, what a scary situation. You hope and pray that drugs are not involved because he's had his issues with painkillers coming off of back surgeries, which is what he was doing now.
So from what I saw from the police, whoever the police chief or whatever that was talking, he said, we investigated for alcohol, odor of alcohol, narcotics, drugs, and they didn't suspect any of it. So, but the number one is he's going to be there for his kids because Charlie Woods is the next Tiger. I mean, he's already got this excitement about him.
Yep.
At 12 years old.
Yep. He's the 2034 Masters champion, Tiger Woods.
Yeah. So number one, he's going to be there for him, which is the biggest blessing out of all of this.
And his daughter,
and two,
his daughter Sam as well.
Yes. Yeah. Of course. And two, if he makes a comeback, he's the greatest athlete ever. And I know we talked about Gretzky, but this man has already had so many comebacks, and to win the 19 Masters after everyone said he was done, and he won the 08 U.S. Open on one leg already. I mean, I don't want to talk about it because, he's kind of fighting for his life at the moment, but hypothetically, could you imagine if he comes back and wins another major?
I can't imagine it, but that'd be ridiculous.
Anyway, hockey podcast, but you mentioned golf, so I just wanted to talk about because he's top 5 greatest athlete ever. So,
dude, we're 4 for 4 on segues now because we were just talking about golf, and now we're going to talk about an ice rink built on a golf course.
Done.
Lake Tahoe. The headline is breaking news: the sun is hot. Lake Tahoe is successful despite the ice literally melting during the game. So they tried to play the game at 12 p.m. local time. In Utah, Nevada. I know the lake is on, the Nevada-California border. But, so they started at 12 p.m. It was technically 28 degrees, but the sun is attracted by white surfaces. And the ice was legitimately melting. So they played the first period, finished it around 1 p.m. local time, and they didn't start the game again until 9 p.m. that night.
9 p.m. local time. It was midnight here on the East
3
Coast.
and 12 here,
So what's crazy is we watched the first period of Myrtle. He got the call. We left 5-hour drive from Myrtle, went to Walmart to get him ready for quarantine, got home, and we still had an hour until the second period. The game was sick, dude.
It was.
The game was sick.
Final 3-2. Colorado held on. I think they were up 3-0, at least 3-1. But it was a fun game to watch.
And the Bruins Flyers game was even better.
So
not the game itself, but the way it was played and the views. I mean,
so that game ended up starting at 4:30 local time. And it started with the sun out. The second period happened with the sun setting, which was some of the most unbelievable views ever. Definitely the coolest hockey game ever played. And then the third period was played under the lights. NBC has said that the Bruins-Flyers game at Lake Tahoe was the most watched regular season NHL game ever. And the first one over 1 million viewers. It had 1.1 million viewers. And I believe it because that was so fun to watch, especially because my team was winning. But either way, it was some of the coolest views ever.
That's insane because that includes all the Winter Classics.
Yeah.
And I said 8-0 Flyers, and it almost turned into 8-0 Bruins. So.
Yeah. I said 5-2 Bruins, and that was the score of the second period. So it was so fun to watch. It was such a cool game.
Yeah, the Christian loved the clashing colors.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be, to be honest with you. But
those Vegas jerseys, let's talk about jerseys for a second.
Yeah,
all the jerseys were sick,
top notch.
But the jersey of the Lake Tahoe games was the classic Nordique jerseys. Might be, and I say this a lot, but it might be top 5 jersey of all time. Like I can't sit here and name you the top 5, but I know number 1 is the Aztec throwback Kachina. Arizona jerseys. Yeah. But that classic Nordique with the Colorado colors, that's got to be up there for top 5.
Yeah, so. That was awesome. The Vegas ones, they look so cool on paper. They didn't look great during the game, but obviously it's being played outside, so we'll have to wait and see.
It might have been the sunlight.
Yeah, we might have to wait and see. I mean, either way, they were really cool. They just weren't as cool as we thought they'd be. The Flyers ones are okay. I honestly don't like them that much, but the gold Bruins jerseys looked awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All the jerseys are cool, but I wanted to give the Nordiques.
They deserve
the major shout out. Yeah.
For sure.
I don't have a segue here for this one.
Speaking of games.
Game of the week. Yeah, horrible. Game of the week. And I said this before we ever started recording when I was writing this on the script. The fact that this is I never thought ever that this would be a game of the week. Or that these two teams would be first and second in the division. But Carolina at Florida, they play Saturday and they play Monday. Florida first in the division with 26 points, 17 games played. Carolina second in the division, 25 points with 17 games played. The Blackhawks are third because they played 20 games. And the Lightning are fourth because they've only played 16 and they're at 23 points. So the Lightning could tie Carolina for second because they have a game in hand. But Florida, 12-3-2. I mean, wow. They are playing so well right now.
According to points percentage, they're the best team in the league at .765.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about the top 10 in a second because we always end the show with the top 10 or the power rankings. But, yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I'm probably going to watch this game. So.
Yeah, that'll be a great game. And you said it. I mean, it's probably like 70 degrees in Raleigh today and like 82 degrees in Florida, in Miami. And these are two of the best teams on planet Earth. So,
yeah. If you said that the game of the week is two teams south of the Mason-Dixon, no one would believe you, but it is. So
you would have said
here on the Good Goal podcast.
Yeah, so they play on Saturday and Monday. Obviously, the back-to-back games make these super interesting. I like this sort of that are all of our games of the weeks are tandems.
Yeah,
because they could split, whatever. It just makes it more interesting. All right, let's get into the power rankings. If that's all you got on that, Matt.
Yeah, I just got. I guess we'll make our picks. I'm not going to do score, but I say they split. I say I'm not gonna. I don't really.
All right,
I'm not going to guess what day.
I think the Panthers win both.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's get into the power rankings from NBC Sports Pro Hockey Talk. I wanted to name the guy this time because we call him out a lot, so we at least got to give him credit. Adam Gretz, you stink at your job. Number 1, Toronto Maple Leafs. The headline is Austin Matthews really might score 50 goals in 50 games. He's got 18 and 20 right now. He's playing great, and the defenses and goalies trying to stop him every night are all near the bottom of the league. We already talked about that, Matt. They're running away with the division. It's not even close.
So 50 goals in 50 games. That was Gordie Howe, right? That set that mark.
I think so.
Or it might have been Rocket Richard.
Somebody did it in like 38 games.
Yeah, that was Gretzky.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah.
So 50 goals in 50 games is like you are the best scorer in the league. Like, no doubt. For Gretzky to do 50 and 38, probably with 60 assists in that time too.
Yeah.
I mean,
last year Pasta had 25 and 23, I believe. So we'll see if Austin can match that. And Ovi must have been close to that as well because they were keeping pace with each other the whole year.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2, Carolina, they're good. Just to preview, Boston is at 6. Keep that in mind as I read the rest of these names. It's the first time that I've actually been mad that the Bruins are low because I really try not to be biased, but I think this is objectively wrong. I don't really understand. Okay, number 2 is Carolina.
We have to remember that these come out on Monday, so, but.
Yeah, we haven't played since then, though.
No. I'm just saying, like, sometimes we'll read, like, 2 weeks ago, Montreal was number 1, and they lost 8-1, and we're like, why? Why is Montreal?
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, it is important to keep that. They do come out on Monday. All right, the Carolina description is you have to love the young talent and the way this team plays. Nino Niederreiter and Vincent Trocheck are having huge years.
Yeah, Trocheck is a huge addition to this team.
I mean, it's true. They're playing great. Number 3, Colorado. Their only losses over the past 8 games were in overtime and 1-0 to Vegas, where they probably were the better team. I didn't watch that game. I do know they played them again after the bubble. I mean, after the outdoor game. But
they just straight up outplayed Vegas in the outdoor game. The first period was slop. I'm not even counting the first period. Like if you discount the first period, it was 2-2 for the second and third. But yeah, to me, they outplayed Vegas.
Okay, yeah. And speaking of Vegas, they're the next team, number 4. Vegas and Colorado are emerging as the best teams in the West with very little separating them. Agreed, those 2 teams are going to be head and shoulders above the rest for the rest of the year. The Pacific is not particularly strong. Well, it's not the Pacific, it's the West this year, but it's basically
the Honda West Division. Get it right.
Yeah, excuse me. You're right. Yeah, so those teams will definitely dominate that division.
Whoa.
All right.
The
Let's
Blues.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to point out that Vegas is winning the division with 3 games in hand over St. Louis, and they have one. Yeah. They have 1 point, but Avalanche are 3 points behind St. Louis with 4 games in hand. So St. Louis is obviously they're at the top of the division, but they have the most games played in the entire division. Well, that and the Ducks, who are dead last, and they have the most games. So.
How about the Kings, too, in 4th in that division right now? Anze Kopitar is a Hart candidate again. It's 2012.
It is 2012.
What happened?
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, Tampa Bay, a little slump this week, but they're at number 5. Just a blip on the radar, they said. Tampa Bay, I don't think there's any way they don't win that division.
I don't know. Florida and Carolina are playing really well, but I'm inclined to agree with you because Tampa, they could lose 6 straight and still be the Vegas favorite to win the division because after they lose 6 straight, they'll win 12. So
they're one of these points. I mean, they're known for this in the past 3 years. They're just going to win 10 games in a row.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen.
Ease.
I mean, I think
with ease.
I think 2 years ago they had like a 19-game point streak. And they're going to do something like that again this year. It's just a matter of time. Number 6
there's no narrative of they're going to blow in the playoffs because last year was utter domination by them.
Yeah, exactly. That is true. That's true. All right. Boston is number 6. The question of scoring depth beyond the top line is starting to surface again. Okay, here we go. Number 6 is, first of all, an unbelievably low number to have Boston at. I mean, I think they're the best team in the league. I do watch them every night, so let me preface it by saying that. But
they're not the best team in the league.
You can't really talk about scoring depth if you have the third best differential in the league. Yeah, sure. Pastrnak has scored 9 goals in 9 games. Just because he scores a hat trick doesn't mean that the first line is scoring too much. Look, I get it. Scoring depth is always the issue. And there's no way they fixed it just by getting Craig Smith and Nick Ritchie. But at the same time, number 6, come on.
I don't think they should be number 6, but you saying they're the best team in the league is just not true.
Toronto's better than them.
Yeah, Toronto.
And every one of these teams deserves to be in the top 5, so it's hard to say. But to have them at 6 just seems crazy. And even the Panthers.
Toronto's up here, and then they have Carolina at 2nd. They're not. It's not close. Toronto's right now. This Toronto team's beating anyone in a 7-game series. That's a fact.
We're not gonna. They lose in the playoffs. If there's no I
said right now.
Okay, yeah. If they played for 7 games that counted as much as regular season games and there was no pressure, they'd win. They'd probably win all 7. Okay,
but we said that with Tampa, and then they completely flipped the narrative on its head when they just dominated everyone. It's. I hate saying, I'm going to throw up. My bathroom's right here. It's only a matter of time before this Toronto team shocks everyone and wins the cup, because there's in a 7-game series. We saw it last year. We saw it when the Capitals won the Stanley Cup. That depth and that talent deep into a playoff series is just going to take over. It's just going to happen.
It has to. It has to. But the interesting thing is we're not going to find out. I mean, Toronto, Carolina, Colorado, Tampa, and Boston are all in different divisions. That's all 4 divisions that are represented there.
And I get it.
We're not going to be able to compare these teams until the conference finals, which is unbelievable. But
that's true. I get it. The North Division isn't
so weird.
Isn't top tier. But rivalries have a tendency to be super unpredictable, but Toronto is making this division predictable. Toronto's just going to win.
They're going to win. Yeah. There's no way they don't.
They're the best team in the league, but I hate to just rip away the
you're right.
Clout you're giving Boston. Boston should be 6. That's a fact. But
I got quarantine.
No one's taking the 1 spot from Toronto.
I got quarantine brain. I'm on edge.
You're good. You're good. Boston shouldn't be 6. We can agree on that.
Yeah. I watch them every night, so that's why. But they just look so good.
I watch the Caps every night, and we should be 31st. So
yeah, the Caps they're slumping a little bit. They'll figure it out though. Okay, let's move on to number 7, another team that's far too low. And I feel like I've been saying that about every team, so it's really not fair.
It's so weird that we're like, this team should be in the top 5. And then if we look at the top 5, we're like, okay, well, we can't move anyone out.
Yeah. Florida Panthers are number 7. And what's the guy's name again? Adam Gretz even says here, I admit I'm probably still underrating this team. Impressive week for sure and a great start. But I want to see this start to go a little further before I fully jump on board. Yeah, we've been saying that since they started the season 5-0, but eventually
have
to stop saying that.
Can I use an analogy from another sport? Because we do that all the time on this hockey podcast.
Yes.
You know how in college football, when the season starts, they go from last season. So the year that Ohio State won the national championship in 2014, they were beating Northwestern in overtime. They weren't even top 10, according to the eye test.
Yeah.
But they were number 1 because they won the national championship and they were undefeated. Scrap that. Last year doesn't matter. So we talk about Tampa being a top 5 team just because of their talent and all that. But if they've lost 4 in a row, which they haven't, but I'm saying if they've lost 4 in a row, they shouldn't be in the top 5. It's not last year. If we're talking about who would win in a playoff matchup, that's different. But we're talking about this week power rankings. Florida should be in the top 5 because they're number 1 in the division with Tampa, with Carolina. So anyway, rant over. But the narrative, like when we did the power rankings the first time, the guy was like, I need these teams to prove this. I need these teams to. Whoever's playing the best the week prior gets in the top 5. That's
right.
Just how it should be.
This is way lower stakes than a college football playoff thing. Like he could literally say whatever he wants in this, and it doesn't matter. So why not just give the teams that you think are the best?
And he's getting it wrong. There's no stakes.
I know. Yeah, there's no stakes, and he's still making decisions that are like based on pressure. It's like
anyway,
I don't
Florida
want to give him too much credit.
Florida should be in the top 5.
Yeah. Okay. Philly. This is a team that should not be on this list. I might be overrating them a bit, says Adam Gretz, but I think when this team is healthy, they can be pretty good, he says. None of these teams are pretty good. All of these teams are very good, except for Philly.
Except for Philly.
When the year started, they were winning like 2-1, 3-1. And people were saying, including Gretz, to his credit, this is not sustainable. They can't keep winning games like this. And you and I took the position that the fact that they're not really putting it all together, they're not fully healthy, and they're still finding ways to win games, that should be a testament to how well they're going to play as the season goes on. But since then, they just continue to tread water. Part of this is because Boston just beat them 7-3, but I don't know, man. I don't think Philly's that good.
So this guy, like, and I hate to just like crap on him because he makes money doing this for a living, and we talk to 12 people a week. But the logic is flawed here. But I like using these power rankings because it's definitely something to talk about, and we get to throw in our 2 cents.
Yeah.
But my 2 cents is worth more than his, and I'll tell you why. He puts the Bruins at 6, who lead the Mass Mutual East Division.
Yeah.
He puts the Flyers at 8. They're 5
fifth.
They're 5th, they're not making the playoffs if the season ended today.
Yeah.
How are they 2 spots behind the team leading that division? That makes no sense to me. None.
Washington is nowhere to be found on this list, and they're at second.
And they're second.
Granted, they've been slumping, but the points stand.
Us slumping is still the second best team in that division.
They literally said it about Tampa Bay. They were like, yeah, they're slumping, but they're still good.
Yeah, Tampa's 4th in the division, but we're going to put them at 5. And the Caps are 2nd in the division, and they're slumping. Screw them. We're going to put Philly in, who doesn't make the playoffs if the season ended today. Makes no sense. No, Philly should not be in the top 10.
Agreed.
I love Carter Hart. He's awesome.
Carter Hart?
So what?
Yeah.
No.
I love Kevin Hayes.
They suck.
By the way, did you see the mic'd up videos of Kevin Hayes before the games? He was like,
yes, naked, baked. Yeah.
Philosopher. Like, how come it's naked, N-A-K-E-D, but it's not baked, B-A-K-E-D? It's a good question. And then later
we talked
in the game,
about this on. No, go ahead.
Later in the game, I don't know what the context of this is, but the ref was asking, he was like, yo, was it one of you guys? And Kevin was like, no, it wasn't one of us. And he was like, so who was it then? He's like, I'm not a snitch. I'm not going to tell you. We need Kevin Hayes mic'd up on every single game. I didn't know he's now an assistant captain too, because he seems like it's just an absolute goofball. I don't know why anyone would take that guy seriously.
I think it's like PK, where he has this aura about him that's like he's never serious. It's always joking. But when it comes down to it, he's gonna show up and just be huge. So I like Kevin Hayes. He's so fun.
He's awesome.
Last night we were on PlayStation talking about it. It was like naked or baked. And then we were like, but what if it were baked and naked? Like, which one would you like switched? And I'm like, I don't like either. It's horrible.
I should stop saying both those words.
Yeah.
All right. The St. Louis Blues are at number 9, and the title is "We Need to Talk More About David Perron." Probably true. What a player he has been in St. Louis, says Adam Gretz. St. Louis is good again. They played a lot of games, so it might be a little bit inflated, their point totals. But
look, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. You remember how we were saying, if you play good last week, you get put in the power rankings this week. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10, and they've lost 2 in a row. Why are they in the top 10?
Yeah, I'm fully here for total fluctuation. You can have a different top 10 every week if you want. Just make it a little bit interesting.
I mean, next week we're doing our own top 10, and what we can compare to this guy if we want. But the fact of the matter is, every week it's with this guy that they've proven to me that they should be here. Okay, well, they're 0-10 in their last 10. Just because they have a good team doesn't mean they don't suck. Like,
I like this narrative. Yeah, if they've been bad in the last week, they don't deserve to be here. So that brings up a good point because Edmonton has won 9 of 11 games. So in the last 11 games, they're the best team in the league. I'm fully okay if he puts them at number 1 or number 2 because Toronto's that good. But you know what I mean? We should just start doing who's the best team of last week. And we can talk about that.
The Oilers have won 5 in a row.
Yeah. Conor McDavid is playing the sport at a different level than everyone else. That's what Adam Gretz said.
Which is true.
More. That's the first correct thing he said. In this
Why'd you say that and then put him at 10? I mean, what?
And they're in second in their division, right?
Yeah. I mean, what's crazy is they've won 9 out of 11 and they're still 4 points behind Toronto. And Toronto has a game in hand.
How's Draisaitl doing stats wise? That's something I'd like to know.
I think it was him and McDavid were just 1 and 2, and everybody else was
they were the
low.
They were the first 2 to 20 points. I know that.
Are you looking it up?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Oh, he's got 33 points. That's not bad.
Where's McDavid?
They're still 1 and 2. McDavid's number 1 with 38 points, and Draisaitl is number 2 with 33.
Okay, 38 points in 21 games. I mean,
that's so stupid.
What?
He's about to get 100 points this year. The way Matthews could legitimately score 50 goals in 56 games, Conor McDavid could have over 100 points in 56 games. Can you imagine? Usually there's only 3 guys that are over 100 points for an entire 80-game season, 82 games.
Here's the thing. You say McDavid could be over 100 points. Could you imagine? I could imagine.
I can.
Because right now, him and Draisaitl are the only 2 that I can imagine doing.
Yeah.
And of course we talk about McDavid weekly, and you guys can complain, whatever. Nobody complains because
nobody's ever complained.
We're all on the same page. But I'm just saying, like, if you were to ever complain, just look at the stats and go, "Oh, I get it. He's a man amongst boys at this moment."
Yeah.
Anyway,
the game is a different speed when the puck's on his stick. And the same goes for McKinnon. He scored a goal outside. And I forget who the defenseman was, but when McDavid got the puck, when McKinnon got the puck in the defensive zone, he goes, "Uh-oh." And then he gets burned to the outside and Nate McKinnon scores. It's the same thing. When they get the puck, you know what's going to happen. They're going to score.
Dude, could you imagine? And I mean, we don't have to imagine this because Canada only plays Canada this year. But 3-on-3 with Edmonton, and it's Draisaitl and McDavid together, 2 out of the 3 on the ice.
Who else? Like Darnell Nurse? Who else?
Yeah, probably.
That's so weird.
And you're like, if they win the face-off, it's over. There's no chance. Because even if you have a 2-on-0, McDavid's going to catch up to you.
Uh-huh.
Like, there's no chance. And
you lose.
I'd like to see their overtime record.
Well, they haven't lost an OT, I can tell you that. So it's something to know. It could be 0-0. I doubt it.
That's true. There you go. Then they're undefeated.
Yeah.
An OT. Which is my exact point.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't have possession against them, you lose. That's so great. But imagine, like, it's Matthews and Marner and a defenseman against Draisaitl and McDavid and a defenseman.
Oh. Well, Toronto has Tyson Barrie, right?
That's a blast from the past. Maybe. Do they still have?
Because he's definitely not on Colorado anymore.
Yeah.
Tyson Barrie. He plays for the Oilers now.
Oh.
So it's probably Tyson Barrie, McDavid.
Yeah, probably is. Yeah,
oh
some
my
offensive
God.
defenseman.
Tyson Barrie was so good in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyson Barrie McDavid and Draisaitl, get out of here. Are you kidding me? Yeah, probably it's probably Madison Riley. It's probably the third for Toronto.
Morgan Riley. Who's Madison Riley?
I don't know. I don't know why I said that. I think I might have went to high school with a Madison. Dude, I don't know. I knew it was a girl's name. That's all I knew.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Quick fantasy
all right,
talk.
We got anything else?
Yeah, quick fantasy talk.
Go ahead.
The Brady's are 1, 2, and 3, and the TRs are 4, 5, and 6.
I haven't set my lineup in 3 weeks.
I know. That's what I was telling my dad last night. He's like, how come he doesn't play with players? I was like, I think if you asked him right now, he would forget that fantasy league exists.
Well, so it's kind of a flawed system because if I finish dead last, I still get on the podcast. So it's I have no motivation to win this thing.
I think the secret to my team, Matt, and if anyone else is playing fantasy, I would invest in guys like this. I have a ton of players who are listed at multiple positions, which is hugely important. Like, what's his name? JT Miller plays all 3 offensive positions, so I can start him at center, left wing, or right wing.
Yeah.
Which is huge because you get these nights where you have nobody to play, and then you get these nights where everybody's playing, and you got to decide where to put guys.
Mm-hmm.
So you can play basically whoever you want if you do that.
My favorite's when you have
Patrick
one guy
Kane,
playing.
Yeah, I know. It's the worst. Or 0, which happens. And a goalie is basically like a defense in fantasy football.
Yeah.
Where if you're winning and those are the last players playing, don't play your goalie. It's such a liability. You could so easily get negative points.
Yeah.
If a goalie gives up 4 goals on 28 shots, he has like negative 6 points.
Yeah, it's better to get 0 than negative. So, yeah, I agree with you. Just start no one.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. And I know my goalies aren't even good. I have Mackenzie Blackwood.
I have Carey Price and Holtby. And what's crazy is, and we could here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have this whole goalie dilemma, right? And we can't afford Holtby, but we signed Justin Schultz for more money. Holtby's not even the starter in Vancouver. It's Demko.
Yeah.
So the fact
BC.
the fact that they signed Holt, they essentially poached him from us for what we thought was going to be $9 million, and it's 4.2. And they don't even start him. I mean, he's essentially a 1B. Is a joke to me. And Vancouver's bad. They're bad at hockey.
I didn't give your brothers enough credit because they're tied with Danny for 3rd place. And you are in last place.
I'm dead last. I told you.
You're 1 and 5. And Danny, Zach, and Nick are all 3-3-0. My dad and I are 4 and 2.
Okay, so Vancouver has 18 points in 23 games.
Yeah, they're bad.
They're so bad, dude.
Yeah, they're terrible. Yeah, my goalies are Carter Hart, Mackenzie Blackwood, and Robin Lehner. And Blackwood and Lehner are not good. I mean, they're good, but they're not good fantasy scorers.
Lehner's so good at hockey, and
he's not even playing.
90-year-old Marc-Andre Fleury is just absolutely whooping him for the starting job.
We talked about this in Myrtle, Matt. One of those guys is going to be the starting goalie for
Seattle
Kraken.
Has to be. And if it's Fleury again,
it's not even because they have to decide which one of those guys to protect. They're both under contract next year, and you can only protect one goalie. So one of them will be on the Kraken.
This Fleury that has a 9.4 save percentage is taking Seattle in the playoffs.
Hey, yeah, that's true. But also Vancouver, Holtby and Demko are probably both under contract. I know this is Demko's 2nd year, so he should be in his entry deal under contract again next year.
Holtby signed a 2-year deal. So.
Right. What else? I guess Jake Allen. Nah, he's not really. I'm thinking of the best backups in the league. You're not going to take 42-year-old Yara Halak. There's no way.
Dude, it's and I always thought it was going to be Holtby, but he sucks this year. So
it still could be him, though. What if they protect Demko because he's their future?
The best thing Holtby should have done is stayed with us for 1 year, signed for $10 million in Seattle, because now no way he gets even close to 10 million.
They're gonna have
money. Sucks.
They're gonna have money to throw him at, and they're just gonna throw it at Taylor Hall, and it's gonna make me so mad because he's gonna score like 18 goals.
Taylor Hall is not good this year, and
no, it's not.
It definitely has to do with the fact that Buffalo sucks.
He was great on the second line of Arizona last year. Like he had sort of
was
there.
Also, he won the Hart Trophy with a very underwhelming New Jersey. I mean, no one was in New Jersey when he won it.
And not that long ago.
So the argument that he can't be good on a bad team makes no sense because he won the Hart on a bad team.
Right.
I don't know what's going on. But again, we had this conversation. If you win the Hart once, you're automatically top 100 player that's ever played the game.
Yeah, which is so crazy, but it's definitely the case.
What is happening to him?
Yeah. I mean, the league has existed for 100 years now, right? Since the original 6 was in the 20s. And so many guys have won it more than once.
Well, Gretzky won it 9 times. So there's a decade right there.
Lemieux won it twice, like within there. I mean, that's a bad example because plenty of guys have won it more than
Ovi's won it 3 times. Yep. Bobby Orr won it 3 times or no?
Probably.
Lemieux definitely won it 3 times. Gretzky
Sid
won it 3 times. Sid has 2. Yeah, I mean that's almost 25 years right there.
Yeah, so you're
like
a quarter. You're a top 80 player if you win the Hart Trophy, which is so weird, but it's true.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have 2 top 50 players all time on the same freaking team right now. Because Draisaitl might win it again.
Yeah, he might.
Anyway,
that might be maybe that's why McDavid is so good. He's like, you know what, this year you could still be good, but there's no way I'm letting.
McDavid's a bum without Draisaitl. Let's get that out of the way.
I don't think anybody would argue this, Matt. McDavid was so obviously the best player on the team last year, including Draisaitl, who was
every year.
It's not even close.
Well, so that's my whole point of why Gretzky will never be caught because he won 8 in a row. At year 6, are you like, can we just give it to someone else, please?
And everyone's like, no, you literally can't.
You literally can't because he has 60 points better than the guy in second.
They're like, he's the only guy who can lift the puck. You have to give it to him. It's like a 14-year-old playing. It's like a 14-year-old playing against 6-year-olds.
I mean, well, he was 12 playing in a 16 league, and he had like 300 goals. So
he was 15 in the World Juniors, and he was going to quit hockey to play
baseball. He was junior player of the world at 15.
Yeah,
and he was like, I'm done with hockey. I want to play baseball.
He's like, I don't even like hockey.
Look, you got an invite to the World Juniors at 15. Just go. And he named captain, scored like 40 points in the tournament. And he's like, you know what? I think I might stick with this.
Yeah. He's like, I guess I'm pretty good. It's like it's like in The Blind Side when they're like, they asked Michael, like, hey, do you even like playing football? He's like, I'm pretty good at it. That's what Wayne Gretzky said. He's like, I mean, but what really happened is those broadcasts were on TSN, and it was the first time he ever got any national attention. And Wayne Gretzky's like, oh my God, like, how do I walk away from this? I'm about to be the most popular person in the entire country of Canada.
Yeah, but some people don't want. I mean, Gretzky's kind of a private guy, you know?
Yeah.
And we've seen that now. Like, anytime he shows up to a game, like, you don't really hear about it. Like, they're like, oh, and there's Wayne Gretzky. It's not like if MJ showed up to a game, it would be huge. Mm-hmm. But like,
he never gets on the mic either to talk. And when he does, he says some super interesting stuff. Like he does. It's the same with Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods. He does not want to lose his records. Because when they ask him about his records, he's like, no one's going to catch me. Ovi might catch me, but no one's going to catch me. And then
he even said, he's like,
that's funny because, I had way more assists than I had goals. So people are always like, he wasn't that good a goal scorer, but I was. I had the most goals ever. And you're like, whoa, Wayne, you got a little bit of an ego on you, huh?
But you're also like, you're allowed to have an ego because no one in the game of hockey can ever wear your number again. So
he's like, yeah, it's funny. People think I wasn't a goal scorer, but I have 894 goals.
Well, to even say that, I mean, he has said multiple times, there's only one person for the rest of history that will ever have a chance to catch his record. Yeah. And that guy plays on my team, which is awesome. I mean, I was trying to explain to my like Capitals group chat the other day, the amount of history we are watching, like with our team, like there's never going to be another OV ever. And he is playing on our team. That's just awesome. Sick. I mean, it's kind of like Angels fans. Like, please hang on to the idea that you get to watch Mike Trout.
Yeah,
because
I know.
he's not going to be – Mike Trout's not going to be there forever. I mean, he's going to be there the next, like, 14 years. But
want to hear something funny, Matt?
Go ahead.
Conor McDavid is far and away the best player we've ever seen play hockey. He scores 100 points a year, and everyone's like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever watched. He would have to score 100 points for the next 25 seasons to catch Wayne Gretzky.
He can do
it. Yeah. I mean, Wayne had like 180 points a year. Let me go down his splits and actually read this. And we talk way too much about Wayne Gretzky, but you can't.
Okay, but in our defense, Wayne Gretzky, and it pisses me off being like hockey's my favorite sport. It pisses me off the coverage that Wayne Gretzky does not get.
Yeah, I know. Like that's the greatest athlete ever, which is it's not even close.
He's not even in the convo, which is crazy because he wins the conversation.
Right.
I mean, we literally had an argument last week: Jesus or Gretzky, better hockey player. So
I forgot about that. All right, let me read down his points totals. 137, 164, 200.
Hold on. 137. That's his rookie year.
No, his rookie year. It's nope. That's his rookie year. What? Wait a second.
He won the hardest rookie year.
79 and 80. He had 137 points. Okay, and it only gets better from there. 164, 212. I mean, imagine if a guy scored 137 points today. People would be like, "Oh, he's better than Wayne Gretzky."
Kucherov, he won the hard. I think he had like
120 something.
120 something, and Gretzky scored 212. And what was that? 80. So he scored 212 and 83.
Yeah, 81, 82.
Okay, they didn't even win the cup that year.
No, his
Islanders
best year was 215. That was 85, 86.
They did win the cup that year. So
he was 25. I mean, that's so dumb. That's so dumb. He scored 97 points.
He scored 212 at the age of 21. I just turned 23.
I mean, his last season as a 38-year-old, he had 62 points in 70 games.
Bum.
Yeah.
Garbage. Get out of here.
Yeah. I mean, only 30 guys scored 62 points in a year. No,
Yager scored 80 at 49.
Yeah. Right. That's the only reason he's up. I mean, Wayne combined ridiculous numbers with playing an entire 20-year career. I mean, he started when he was 18 and ended when he was 38. So that's why no one's ever going to catch him, because nobody will ever touch 150 points ever again. No one will ever score 140 points ever in the history of hockey until they make the net bigger, which I keep saying as something that's going to happen, which it probably won't. But
I think the game is perfect now. I mean,
nobody is going to play 20 years ever again. So it doesn't.
The athleticism now, if they made the net bigger, scores would be 9-7. I mean, it's perfect now.
It wouldn't even be close. I love watching hockey. Hockey's the best. Go watch you some hockey if you don't.
All right. We'll see y'all next week. Minutes. Oh, we'll keep y'all posted. Christian gets tested on Friday. Pray for him. Hopefully he's negative. Tell everyone before we go the text you sent me about why you're not positive, or how you're sure you're not positive.
What did I say? I was like, I'm overweight. This thing should literally be kicking me right now. So if I had this, there's absolutely no way I wouldn't feel anything. Are you kidding me? Jason Tatum lost 15 pounds during COVID. It literally killed him. And he's a premier athlete, and he's like 180 pounds.
Yeah, he does get like the best healthcare in Boston, though. So.
No, I know. It doesn't matter, though. I'm getting zero healthcare, and I feel nothing. So
I know, but I'm saying if you did get it and you had symptoms, no offense to Clemson, but Redfern would do nothing. So.
Redfern didn't even call me to tell me I had it.
They did call you at 4 a.m.
Yeah, and didn't leave a message. I really thought that was a sales call. When I woke up, I was like, oh, man.
Augusta, Georgia. I'm surprised you didn't call it. It'd be like, Christian Brady,
actually,
we want you to play Augusta.
What I really thought it was an invite to the Masters. I was like, oh, that's cool.
They didn't leave a message. No wonder they didn't leave a message.
That was my only chance. Maybe it wasn't Redfern. Maybe it actually was Augusta National. And they were like, if he picks this call up at 3:30 in the morning, he can play.
He's dedicated, and we want him to play. And I'm your caddy. You can call me Chauncey.
That's Matt's butler name. He calls me Chauncey all the time.
I'm like, because he has a pin reader he got for Christmas. I'm like, what's the distance? He's like, it's 137. I'm like, thanks, Chauncey. And I grab my 8-iron because I am weak and I can only hit my 8-iron 140. So.
Oh man. All right.
Oh, I went to the par 3, shot +9. So
wow.
Bogey golf.
That's a 90.
Chipping really well. Yeah, I know. All right.
Keep it up. Practice a
See you
little.
next week.
So when I'm released from this prison sentence for a crime I did not commit, then maybe we can.
Yeah, then it'll rain the next 3 weeks.
Exactly. It's been raining for 10 days straight, and it's 70 degrees. And I went outside for 10 minutes, and it was the best thing I've done in 4 days.
They're like, Mother Nature's like, oh, Christian Brady has to quarantine 3 days of 70-degree weather.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see y'all next week.
Yep. Peace.